Here's how to duplicate your weapons and transfer them to a different operator and to your friends. Before getting started, you will need a friend to help you out, and you will also need a mouse input for this glitch. To start this glitch, you would need an operator with at least combat rating 10 or higher and without a field acquisition. The easiest way to do this is by selecting an operator you've never used and getting to combat rating 10 by collecting Zone 4 XP cubes. Here's a map of some of the cubes in Zone 4. I would recommend doing this in Lowtown. Make sure you level up to combat rating 10 or higher and don't pick up any weapons while doing so, and exfil to save your progress. Once you have your level 10 operator with no field acquisition, you'll then want to put a weapon into your melee weapon slot. To do that, you'll need a mouse like I mentioned earlier. Go into your primary weapon, pick a random weapon from any category, go to the store tab on the top of the screen. You'll then want to go back by either pressing the escape key or by clicking on this arrow with your mouse right here. So click on the arrow, click again, and click again until you're back into the loadout screen right here. Go into your melee weapon, select whatever melee weapon, then go back by either pressing the escape key or by pressing the arrow with your mouse again. This weapon category should pop up. You'll then want to click on the weapon with your mouse and create a new build. Now go back to the main menu and you should have a weapon in your melee slot. Now that you have a weapon in your melee slot, you are ready to go into the game with your friend to do this glitch. I would recommend turning squad fill off for this. Make sure you and your friend have your party settings set to either open, friends and chat channels, or friends only. Once you're in the game, make sure not to pull out your melee weapon or swap weapons until I say so. And make sure the weapon you spawn in with is your primary weapon and not your melee weapon. If you don't spawn in with your primary weapon, you'll then want to disconnect or close out of the game. For PC, I use Alt plus F4, or for both PC and console, I would disconnect from Wi-Fi. For console, you can switch to a different application and switch back to Call of Duty, or just close the Call of Duty app. All the methods I mentioned will prevent you from losing any progress on any character. If you do spawn in with your primary weapon, then you want to get a weapon cache from completing activities in Zone 1. I would recommend doing Prime Target, Command Center, or Surprise Shipment. You can do other activities for weapon caches, but the three I mentioned are really fast and easy to complete. Once you complete an activity and get a weapon cache, you'll want to exchange your primary weapon for whatever weapon is in the cache. You'll then want to swap to your secondary weapon, which should be your fist. Then grab the primary weapon you put in the cache while you have your fist out. You'll then want to pull out your melee weapon, which should be the weapon we put in the melee slot. Finally, swap your melee weapon with whatever weapon is in the cache, and the weapon should drop on the ground. Your friend will then want to keep swapping their weapon with whatever weapon dropped on the ground so it doesn't disappear. You'll then want to disconnect from the game using the methods I mentioned earlier so you won't lose any progress on any character. Now that you're back in the menu, you want to select the operator you want to duplicate and transfer the weapon from. It doesn't matter if the weapon is in the primary or field acquisition slot. Once you're ready, you can now join your friend's game and party, or have your friend invite you to the game. Now that you're back in the game, you want your friend to stop swapping weapons and let you swap the ground weapon for the weapon you want to duplicate. Once the weapon you want to duplicate is on the ground, your friend can pick it up and exfil to save it on their operator, and you can take over the swapping process. Or you can get your friend to keep swapping with the duplicated weapon while you disconnect from the game again. Once you're back in this menu, you'll want to select the operator you want the duplicated weapon to go to. I'll just use Karma for the example of the video. So once you select the operator you want to transfer the duplicated weapon to, you'll then want to join your friend again. Make sure you load into the game with an operator that has the field acquisition occupied, or else if you load into the game and pick up the duplicated weapon, you won't drop a weapon to the ground, you'll just pick it up and nothing will be on the ground, and you have to repeat the glitch from the start again. But if you don't have the field acquisition occupied, that's okay. You can just pick up a weapon while your friend is still swapping around with the duplicated weapon. Once you're back in the game, you can then pick up the duplicated weapon and proceed to exfil so you can save it onto your character. As you can see, I have exfilled with Karma, and now I have the XR3 Ion with the shrapnel rounds and explosive bullets from my other operators here. You can then just keep repeating the process of loading in with the weapon you want to duplicate, swapping it with the floor weapon, disconnecting and joining back in with another operator, or you can be the one swapping the floor weapon so your friend can do the glitch. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I know Season 3 Reloaded is coming out in 2 days, so use this while you can. Hopefully they don't patch this, but who knows. Good luck and happy duping.